Some connections simply defy logic. You feel it, but you can't explain it. The reunion, the shivers, the silence that says everything. When souls meet, nothing can separate them. And it's not just about love. It's about destiny, mirrors, awakening. The universe whispers signs. Life connects the dots. But what if? Not every repetition is a soul connection. What if what attracts you is actually what you need to heal? Something's happening behind the scenes, something that wants to show you who you really are. Get ready. You'll never look at an encounter the same way again. Some people come into your life as if they've been there before. One look, one word, and boom, something inside you awakens, even if you don't quite understand what. It's like time stops for a few seconds and says, "Pay attention to this." You can't explain it with logic or an Excel spreadsheet. And you don't need to, because there's a type of encounter that escapes reason and goes straight through the door of feelings. The sensation is clear. This isn't just another coincidence. These encounters carry a different energy. It's not just sympathy, affinity, or coincidence. It's like a part of you that was sleeping recognizes the other without effort. And suddenly, you realize something has changed. You're still you, but there's something new inside. Something that might not even have a name yet, but pulses. And that alone is the first sign that there's a deeper meaning behind the encounter. Sometimes you cross paths with someone on the subway, on a random trip, or on an ordinary day that seemed to promise nothing, and everything changes. It doesn't need romance, eternal vows, or happy endings, but it has intensity. It has impact. And what's most curious is that even without knowing why, you feel like this will echo inside you for a long time. But what if this encounter is more than coincidence? What if it's a reflection of something stirring within your soul? There are moments when life seems to stage a play custom-made for you. You think about someone, and that person appears. You talk about a topic, and it shows up everywhere. Movies, conversations, dreams. It's not magic or empty coincidence. It's synchronicity. Jung said that when something inside you changes, the external world responds. And these casual encounters are just the visible tip of something much deeper happening backstage in the psyche. Synchronicity happens when the universe seems to conspire with your internal processes. There's no direct cause, but there's a symbolic meaning that connects everything. When you're at a decisive moment, in crisis, in transition, in awakening, signs appear. And sometimes these signs have names, faces, and voices. Soul encounters follow this invisible logic. They appear when the soul is ready. And when that happens, there's no going back. Something has been activated. An example? You finally decide to distance yourself from everything that weakens you. And, like in a well-written script, someone appears who mirrors exactly the strength you want to access, or the shadow you need to face. It could be a new friend, an unexpected mentor, or even a love that messes everything up. The form doesn't matter, the impact does. But what do these encounters want to tell us? And why do they happen precisely when you least expect them? Most people think strong connection is about skin, chemistry, gaze. But what really moves the invisible gears of a soul encounter is something else. It's the unconscious. Psychic attraction is when something you didn't even know existed in you responds to the other, as if two lost parts recognized each other in silence. It's not rational, it's not practical. It's something that vibrates inside without asking permission or logic. And when that happens, you feel it. This attraction comes from depths that aren't always accessible to consciousness. Sometimes it's the anima, the unconscious feminine in man, responding to the energy of a woman who carries this symbol. Sometimes it's the shadow asking to be seen, projected onto the person you most desire or most reject. None of this has to do with beauty or status, but with what's latent within you. That's why certain connections are inexplicable and inescapable. Has it ever happened that you felt drawn to someone who, on paper, made no sense at all? Someone who wasn't even your type, not from your world, but still stirred everything inside you? That's where the clue lies. This type of attraction doesn't come from the ego. It comes from the soul. It can be intense, uncomfortable, or transformative, and it's usually all three at the same time. But what does this force want to provoke in you, and why now? Some people pass by, others stay. It doesn't matter how long it lasted or how many photos you took together. What counts is the invisible trail that presence left in you. They're people who seem to have a hidden magnet. They pull you, turn you inside out, make you rethink everything. And what's curious is that often you only realize the size of their impact when they are already gone, because what they awaken keeps echoing. These encounters are symbolic, not in the mystical sense, but in the deep sense. They represent something your soul needed to see, live, or integrate. It might be that someone reveals a strength you ignored or the fragility you hid. They might confront you, inspire you, hurt you, or heal you, but they never go unnoticed. They're like masters disguised as ordinary people, and when they arrive, it's because you, even without knowing, were already ready for it. Think of someone who really marked you, maybe an old love, a childhood friend, a teacher, even a stranger you had a transformative conversation with. These people activate internal codes. Sometimes they make you cry, sometimes they push you forward, sometimes they break you. But they all shape you. And then the doubt arises. Is this intensity a sign of harmony? Or is there something deeper yet to come? We grow up believing that deep connections should be light, magical, conflict-free. But true soul encounters rarely come with gentleness. Often they burn, because soul meeting soul comes to awaken, and awakening hurts. It can come in the form of overwhelming passion, intense friendship, or even direct confrontation. And what's most unsettling is that, deep down, you feel that this needed to happen, even if it cracks everything inside. These connections don't follow the script of romantic comedies. Sometimes the other touches exactly where it hurts most, activates your insecurities, reveals your masks, exposes your shadows. It might seem like chaos, but it's polishing. It's like the universe saying, "You asked to evolve, right? So hold on." Encounters like this take you off autopilot and put you face to face with what you've tried to avoid your whole life. And that's where the magic, or hell, begins. Have you lived something like this? A relationship that wasn't easy but transformed you? A bond that challenged your limits, but also showed you a version of yourself, more raw, more real? This is a soul encounter in its rawest form. It's not there to comfort you, it's there to wake you up. But is it possible to live this type of connection with lightness? Or does this only happen when both are ready to grow? When two souls recognize each other and there's true affinity, something is born that goes beyond emotion. Possibility is born. But it's good to understand right away. Affinity isn't a guarantee of eternity. It doesn't mean you'll walk side by side forever. It means that at that exact point in the journey, you're ready to grow together. And this together isn't about destiny. It's about choice. Evolving alongside someone is a daily decision. This type of connection creates fertile ground, an invisible space where wounds can be healed, dreams can be nourished, and truth can be spoken without fear. When there's conscious reciprocity, the bond transforms into mirror and leverage. It's a relationship that doesn't suffocate, it expands. It's not made of demands, but of presence. And that's where the magic happens. Each one begins to access parts of themselves that alone they might never have had the courage to touch. Have you noticed how certain relationships propel you forward while others hold you back? An energetically aligned partnership challenges you with gentleness, supports you with firmness, and isn't afraid to grow with you. It could be a friend, a partner, a mentor. The point isn't the label, but the field created between you. But what does this field have to do with a much more internal process that might be happening without you realizing it? Behind every external encounter that shakes us, Something is happening inside, something that goes far beyond appearance or chemistry. Jung called this the alchemical marriage, the union of the inner feminine and masculine, anima and animus. When you meet someone who seems to complete you in an inexplicable way, you can bet it's not just about the other. It's about something inside you that's asking for integration, balance, wholeness. This other person who attracts or challenges you so much is often a living symbol of your own individuation journey. They carry characteristics you haven't recognized in yourself yet, but that are there, sleeping, waiting to be awakened. The enchantment we feel isn't just for who the person is, but for what they mirror. It's the psyche saying, "Look at this is also you." Only not everyone is prepared for this reflection. Have you lived this, meeting someone who fascinated you and at the same time left you bewildered? It wasn't just passion, it was a symbolic mirror. And what's most curious, even if you distance yourself, something of that person continues in you, because the internal process has already begun. The question now is, what happens when this mirror becomes a portal into yourself? Some people don't enter your life to stay. They enter to turn you inside out. They appear as a calling, a reminder, a direct push to the center of who you really are. At first, it seems like just another encounter. But with time, you realize this person activated something in you that was sleeping. They didn't bring ready answers, but asked questions you never had the courage to face alone. These encounters are like portals. You enter thinking you're getting to know someone, and leave recognizing yourself. They make you take off masks, break characters, dismantle armor. Sometimes just one conversation is enough. One look, one gesture, and suddenly you find yourself questioning choices, reviewing beliefs, changing paths. The other, in this case, didn't come to fill a void. They came to remind you of what was hidden or forgotten. Have you noticed how certain people have this almost magical power? They don't tell you what to do, but just by being there, they awaken in you the desire to change. These are encounters that can't be explained with logic. They're explained with soul. But if these encounters have all this impact, what makes some connections remain alive for so long even as years pass? True connections don't survive just on beautiful memories or the emotion of the beginning. They require presence. They require surrender. You can't keep alive an energy that isn't nourished. What sustains the connection over time is the commitment to growth, the desire to go beyond the surface. The initial affinity is just the invitation. The inner work is what transforms this invitation into permanence. You know that type of relationship where time passes and still everything remains alive? It's not luck, it's construction. These are people who choose, day after day, to continue meeting each other, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically. They know that real love is movement, that bonds without truth become burdens, that you need to renew your gaze, listen again, speak differently. It's not about not fighting, it's about growing together, even in disagreements. If you've lived this, you know what I'm talking about. A sacred field forms when two souls commit to truth, not to fantasy, but to raw and transformative truth. Passion becomes presence, enchantment becomes joint work. But what about when the universe seems to conspire for two beings to meet, even when everything says otherwise? There are encounters that, no matter how much life tries to separate them, simply keep happening. Too many coincidences, paths that cross again, messages sent at the same time, improbable reunions. It's not just chance. It's not just desire. It's like something greater is weaving the invisible threads behind reality, something that defies logic and whispers, "It's not over yet." The psyche is operating backstage. This isn't romantic fantasy. It's an archetypal pattern. The unconscious mind has its own language, made of symbols, repetitions, and hidden meanings. When something needs to be lived, resolved, or integrated, life finds a way to push you in that direction. But here lies the danger. Not every repetition is a soul sign. Sometimes it's trauma trying to repeat itself, hoping for a new ending, and differentiating one from the other is the true test of consciousness. Have you ever stopped to think if this insistence of destiny isn't actually an invitation to your awakening? Sometimes what attracts us most is also what we most need to understand. And until that happens, the cycle repeats. But what happens when, finally, something awakens so deeply within you that nothing ever goes back to how it was before? There are encounters that, even after the end, remain alive, because what was awakened doesn't depend on physical presence. It depends on the depth of the experience. True connection touches the soul in a place that time doesn't erase. What was seen, felt, and transformed keeps vibrating. The other may leave, but something inside you never goes back to sleep. And this awakening is irreversible. Many people try to bury these experiences as if ignoring would erase them. But that's not how it works. When a soul shakes you from within, it leaves marks that not even silence can hide. It's not nostalgia, it's transformation. It's like a new version of you was born from that encounter. And even if you can't explain it, something essential changed forever. Maybe this is the true gift of these encounters. They don't come to tie you to the other, but to free you from yourself. Free you from old patterns, from false identity, from inner slumber. And when this awakening happens, it's just a matter of time until the soul begins to attract what resonates with this new frequency. The right moment isn't marked by the clock, but by the soul. When it matures, something changes in your vibration. You begin to see yourself more clearly, listen to yourself more attentively, treat yourself with more respect. And that's when the universe responds. Different people start appearing, conversations gain depth, looks carry silent messages. It's not magic, it's attunement. Many people desperately search for the right someone, but forget that the soul attracts what's in resonance with its inner state. It's not about going out searching, it's about becoming someone who lives in coherence with what they feel, what they believe, what they truly desire. It's at this point that the encounter happens, not through effort, but as a consequence. And when this encounter happens, everything seems to fit. Not because the other is perfect, but because they appear as a reflection of your process, as a mirror of your moment. The encounter is just the beginning. What you do with it is what will define the next chapter of this journey. And who knows, maybe this is just the start of something even greater. Do you see what all this means? These encounters aren't random, they're invitations. Invitations to look within, to reconnect with your essence, to grow beyond what you imagined possible. Now that you understand the power behind these encounters, the question is, what are you going to do with this? Will you ignore it? Or will you let it truly transform your life? Who were the souls that crossed your path and left marks that time couldn't erase? What did you learn from them? Is there someone who still lives inside you, even though they're far away? Tell me here in the comments. Sharing this might reveal more than you imagine. And if any part of this video stirred something in you, then maybe your soul is asking for more. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications because there's much more coming. Here, you'll continue exploring the mysteries of the soul, psyche, and inner transformation. And if you want to go even deeper into this theme, watch the next video that's appearing on the screen now. It will expand even further what we started here.